We are back here on the Senior Network, and you know what's interesting? Sometimes shows take a life of their own.
Correct.
And as we went to break, Jen started talking, Jay started talking, Greg, you were saying, oh my gosh, the correlations or the teamwork that goes into the aging adult is pretty phenomenal. My question for you, at what point do I call in home health?
Yesterday. Yeah.
See?
And I think we all would say that. It's the planning process. Jenny mentioned a little earlier that we always get the calls when it's the crisis and critical situation, and we can work through that obviously. But it's very nice, especially with home care. We have folks that reach out to us, like the kids maybe are in New York or somewhere, and they're concerned about mom and dad. They came down at Christmas time and they saw things just weren't the same anymore. They weren't getting around and doing the things.
Is that true?
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
And when they identify that, then they'll reach out and start doing their homework, and they'll find us and start asking questions about how does it work and that things. Because we will go and provide information, and they may not work with us for a year down the road, but at least they're doing their homework and checking into it.
Can I ask a broad spectrum question? What kind of services, you talked about safety, you kind of breezed through it, but I'm really curious as to who needs home health. What are the qualifications for that?
Well, and I can relate this with hospice too, and Jenny will know. Just the demographics alone and the way, we're in a resort area, obviously, right? So a lot of the children do not live here. I think the national average now is, the senior's 60 years old, that the closest child is 280 miles away. Think about that. The support system's not there. So companies like us and all of us get together and we work with these folks. But as far as the services, we're there to do anything. And when it comes down to more towards the end of life, where hospice is getting involved, and Jenny can tell you, they have a great organization with a wonderful volunteer system in place, and she can tell us about that. But home care, we're there to support what they're doing in the home from a hospice standpoint, because they actually are there for a reason, and we're there just to help the family if there's no children around to support.
And it was really interesting what you were saying during the break about with Jay.
Well, what we find, when we get our patients onto our service, it is typically a crisis situation, and they have been going through a disease process, the treatment is no longer available, things are really going south, as a matter of speaking. We come in and try to assist and help with what's going on, try to get things in place. Do these families, when they're elderly and aging, sometimes the caregiver is as ill as the actual patient, do they need 24/7 care? Do they need medication management? Safety issues are huge issues.
And something that Greg brought up that I'm interested in is the calls that you get, they're not frequently from the people that need the care.
Well, that's what I was just
They're from the people that hopefully they appointed as the agent that calls you to say, I recognize that my mom or my dad or my loved one needs help. They're not going to reach out for it, but I'm their agent.
Yep.
I'm reaching out now.
And that was the planning, what you talked about.
Right, and that's what you
Power of
said.
attorney. And
Right.
exactly.
And when you mentioned holidays, kids do come back, Thanksgiving and Christmas, our census goes up at that time because these kids haven't been around for a year, and oh my gosh, I can't believe mom and dad are living like this. And they talk to physicians, and at that point, we don't have a power of attorney. We don't have that living well. Oh my gosh, and so we all need to get together and help each other. And
so from a collaborative point of view, how does that work? Do I go straight to you?
Well, what's important about our part of the puzzle is that it's the person that will eventually become disabled or elderly and not be able to care for themselves, that they are the one choosing who will make decisions for them. They're a part of it up front.
Okay, so I would come to you now at 63 and say, you know what? I am not going to react. I'm going to be proactive.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we all should be doing that today, this afternoon, so we can make our own choices.
Make your own choice, sure.
And what you want to do is make your own choice, because then it's your choice, it's your wish, and it's actually a gift you give to your children, because they don't have to make that wish. And if you have a number of children, we often see 2 want it this way, 3 want it this way, and you can just say, this is what mom wants. And all you have to do is abide by my wishes.
I'm intimidated though. How do I start?
Well, one of the hardest things for people to do is to talk about it. to talk about it at their with their family. Now, I've learned that most of the time around holidays is a good time. Families are together. They're more sentimental. They're thinking about it more, and it gives an opportunity.
How do you frame that, you guys? You see it every day. How do you frame it to your parents, or how do my kids frame it to me, or how do I say it?
It's a difficult conversation, but I did it a year ago with my family and called a family meeting and gave them an agenda and said, this is what we're going to talk about. It's going to be very difficult. And there were a couple of my siblings were kind of squirming around, and I'm like, let's just put it out on the table and put the what ifs.
And I'm just giggling because I did it last year with my kids. I said, who wants me? They're all like, no. They're all, But I wonder then, can you, because honestly, I think making an appointment makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, well, and there's guides out there
I
too
want
that
choices.
you can actually. Jay has guides that will walk you through the process.
Right, and one thing we try to do is answer questions for people when they come in. And one thing that I've always found is they say, well, I've never thought of that before. I've never read that anywhere. Well, we're there to walk you through the process based on the information you give us. And we say, we understand your family dynamics because you gave us that information in advance. Let's talk about that. We see your assets here. We see what you want to do in the future for your family. This is how you can make that accomplished. But bringing the subject up is tough, but I would say this. If you're a child, say, do I love my parents? Do I want them taken care of? Then the second question is, how do I make that happen? By bringing the subject up. If you're a parent, just the reverse is true. Do I want my children taken care of? And if that's the case, you're going to bring the subject up.
It makes so much sense. We're going to take another quick break. I want to talk a little bit about, when we come back, about when to bring hospice care in and who actually makes that decision. So stay with us. We'll be right back here on the Senior Network.